All right, take 4. It's funny because my last take I said, I promise I'm going to finish this video and not pause it because I don't like something and redo everything. I just posted this deck in Discord and it didn't, I won't really ramble on too much. The version I had Babel and not delivered, and I used delivered, Emmaus, and numerous. They're so good. They're massive generators, like delivered to Denarius, delivered to 4D, delivered to New Cove. You play Emmaus to get delivered, to go to New Cove, to get delivered, or to get Emmaus, and have New Cove for the next turn if you already had 4D. Like, I don't need to ramble on about how good those 3 cards are. But I posted pretty much this deck in main Discord. This started as the defense and souls I already had. And it started as a deck to where I was going like kind of a ground up. I originally did a ground up video where it's just a blank canvas and you start painting, baby. And I was over an hour in and I had like 40 cards and it was only heroes and enhancements. And then I go from there. So I think maybe I can do a series of videos where it's just like heroes and enhancements of what I'm looking for, because I want to explain the battle phase. I want to explain why I'm picking cards that I am. It's just you pretty much have to have the deck idea in your head and almost kind of pre-built, and then you're just bringing it over in Lackey, so you're just cheating. So yeah, that video was going to be an hour long and it was nowhere near done. Or I build a deck at like 70 cards and then I bring it all the way back to 50. I think I can do that and do an explanation. So some options there I can do. I think that'd be pretty cool to have a 60-ish, 70, like a 63 to 70 and bring it down to 50. I would love if people were like, edit my deck. And they sent, like, you can edit my deck on your channel. And I say whose deck it is if they want me to, and start tweaking it, do a goldfish, whatever. That'd be cool too. So send away. I did want to, I am going to go do a ground up after this. I did want to show this defense. It is large. This defense is large. But I wanted to show it because I think it's one of the stronger defenses, better with all those characters, right? I wanted to show what this defense could do. I nicknamed this defense the Chamber Brothers, and we'll get into why. But I'm not going to go into this deck. It's my favorite, the Bethany Trio. I'm banding with Hospitality and the Ascension. Hospitality to grab. He is Risen and banned in Gabriel as well. So it's a very heavy band offense. Originally the idea was Mary and Noah. And I was going to do the Noah Shuffle and band in all these people and have half of them protected via Mary's protection and have Noah out. The only card to do that is Faith of Samuel. And I was pretty much forcing myself to get to Faith of Samuel. And it was just changing the dynamics of the deck. So I opted to go to a more just slight numerous where I'm getting the heroes I want and doing a massive band. I do not think I need... These cards only make the deck better. But I can take out Numerous and bring in Love Righteousness. I can take out Delivered. And I probably take out Doubt and bring in Crowd's Choice. Doubt for Crowd's Choice would change. Numerous out for Love Righteousness. Delivered and Emmaus might turn into Denarius and an Emperor. And I might take out an evil character to just offset for some speed. Or maybe I go into like a David's Harp. Kind of ordeal. Or I'm just saying if these cards don't exist, or if it's a one territory class enhancement test, or whatever I'm testing, there's other options, and these 3 cards do not need to go into the deck. They're obviously amazing, but if I want to, I don't know if I said this at the beginning, because I'm not joking. I've done 4 videos and I just something wasn't right. You're not making yourself any better if you keep playing the same stuff. Period. You're making yourself better with your deck. So if you're trying to play the same deck to become like the expert on that deck, then that's fine. As for the best players I've ever seen play in overtime, they know their deck in and out. I've always preached on that, and they know the meta, whether they play the best in the meta or they play the best deck that goes against the meta, which is usually the best deck. They know what the heck they made, they know how to play it, and they know what the meta is, and usually and you achieve that one of 2 ways. You play your deck 100 times against everyone, or you play a bunch of cards, or you play a bunch of decks. And that's kind of like the, what is it? Good at everything, master at none, whatever the phrase is. But if you do enough, you'll get to the point of, I know my deck, I want to test others. That's my philosophy. I have a physical deck built, and then I have my favorite couple decks on Lackey, and I play those 3. But I build everything, which tends to lead to creativity and deck building and diversity and finding out what's, in my opinion, the best. So if you're playing casually, or you're playing at a local tournament or a district, if some top dogs aren't there, some top dogs are there, and you keep losing to them, try something else. Don't let Jay beat you with Flood Survivors and whole soul hiding. So we're not going to talk too much about that anymore. The offense, banding offense, really fun. This is a lot of fun to play. I'm trying to band in John and Joanna. Joanna can take from reserve or draw 2. I can start the battle with Joanna to get the toss, or I can band in Joanna and not worry about the toss and still get a draw 2 or a take. I can band in John. I can band in the Bethany trio. I can't do much with John at the beginning. Like, I don't have anything for John the Fisherman. I just don't. So whether or not he needs to be in this deck, maybe something else comes in, but he was a star ability for numerous, and he's the correct brigade colors. So you got your Bethany trio, your Jesse, your Obed. I could change Obed to Enosh for another numerous character if I needed to. So yeah, a lot of really strong attacks. You could take out Jesse Obed for just different white characters that are gospel and get the unity for John the Forerunner. If this is not a numerous deck, I'd probably have Elizabeth. Jesse and Obed would come out. I'd bring in Elizabeth and probably another Empty Tomb gal, and Love Righteousness and some other white cards, and go that way and keep the unity and just have gospel everywhere. You're banding in off Hospitality. You're grabbing He Is Risen. He Is Risen. You're getting a big set aside. Plus you get the band in Gabriel. I like the Ascension into Paul, of course. And then you also have Ambush. Well, I'll explain the defense now. I wanted to do a ground up video, but I really wanted to show what I call, yeah, there, Gabriel, the Chamber Brothers defense. My throat's a little raspy because I've literally done so many videos already. Just didn't like them. You guys deserve the best. Alrighty. So yeah, offense, really, really fun, really strong, cool. We spoke about you enough. General Soul Package, I opted for the Wanderer. I used to call it the Switcheroo. Didn't stick. Almost did. That was forever ago. The Wanderer. Um, a lot of people are relying on their souls, so I like taking them. Takes them off guard if I can snag it real quick. Den of Thieves to go with my thieves. Okay, big defense. Chamber Brothers defense. If you're playing thieves, you need to run Vain Philosophy. We don't need to talk about that too much, but if I get a band with just plunderers to condemned thief, and I play Vain Philosophy, I'm going to prevent the next thing you play and take it. I'm going to look at your hand and take an enhancement. And depending on what I see, I can then play Vain Philosophy. I can kill your heroes in battle. I can make it to where I have initiative and can play whatever I want, and you can't do anything about it because of plunderers or condemned thief or Vain Philosophy. This defense is really big. It draws, it bans. I have protection, so I try to strategically take cards from you. All my cards are pretty much interrupt. Betrayal works right with what I'm trying to do with Vain Philosophy. So this defense is very, very good. Joe Schaefer messaged me and was saying he thinks there's something there with Crimson and Orange. I said, say less, fam. I got you. There absolutely is something there with Orange and Crimson. Everything bans. As Joe Schaefer was talking, like theorizing, just the goodness of Orange and Crimson, Jeremy had shared something with me a while ago. A band with Shamed Woman, pretty much to Nebby, and Highwayman bans to a New Testament Crimson Human, and is a thief. So you can pretty much go off and end your chain with Nebby. I make Kings of the Earth Babylonian. Unless you're playing Romans, I'll make... I'll never make him a Roman. Never mind. He doesn't ban to what he is. Sorry. I'll make him a Babylonian for the rare instance of Nebby starting the chain, because sometimes people forget he bans, but also they just know Nebby to toss. So I can start the chain with Nebby, banding to Kings of the Earth as a Babylonian. I have to put Kings of the Earth down and then ban to him. A lot of people will just assume Nebby's tossing. They'll forget that he doesn't toss. So I can... That's a dirty play, I know. In their mind, they're thinking Nebby tosses. I banned. They forget it's a one or the other. And then my ban just goes off. So I keep saying goes off. What does that mean? Here's what I can do with this band. Oh, and the other thing why I call it the Chambers defense, when Jay and I were playing last week, Monday, I don't know. He had Fence Jumpers and Highwayman with Outsiders. So he would do like a Highwayman to Fence Jumpers to Outsiders. And we were testing one territory class enhancement, but he was also playing Salty. So he wasn't testing one territory class enhancement per turn. He didn't have any territory class enhancements in his deck, so that he would really use in general in the battle. I think he had one, but total. So Jeremy showed me a band he had as well. Not to steal that or anything, I've just always played Kings of the Earth. Jeremy showed me a band. Jay had his Highwaymen, Fence Jumpers, Outsiders. I was like, you know what? Chamber Brothers, hats off to you. Here's everything. Like, put it all together. Explain what pieces of the puzzle we have. So, whether you're testing one territory class enhancement in the Lackey Grand Prix, or you just want a really strong defense that's really fast, New Testament Gold. There's more people playing New Testament Gold, but it's slow. You could play it with this defense. If your offense is relatively fast and you want a little speed on both sides, Disciples can play this as well. I posted a deck with Disciples to where you have that speed on the front end and when you're blocking. So Messenger of Satan, I can start this band with whatever I want. Here, we're going to need a canvas for this. Get the enhancements out of the way. Okay. Red Dragon can ban to Outsiders. Nice. Not you, Firefox. You're just a chump. Messenger of Satan can ban to Outsiders as well. Highwayman can ban to an a New Testament crimson human, which is shamed woman or fence jumpers. Fence jumpers bands to a generic evil New Testament human. It could also band to outsiders. Big draw or draw and then give you special initiative. Generic evil New Testament human, kings of the earth. It's also generic. I can now band to, I know I don't have Babylon in here, the harlot, but I could also band to a demon. And go to messenger, which, hey, what do you know, bands to a human. Here, or anything I want. Messenger can also band to shamed woman, who bands to an evil male human. So I can do that. Or I can go kings of the earth to outsiders, or I'm sorry, red dragon to outsiders, or I can go to the deceiver, who swaps out for who's ever in my deck. So it all goes together. What am I missing? Yeah, deceiver can start whatever I need to, or he can end the chain and then go into another character. You could also go into another character. I love ending the chain with the deceiver and going into plunderers. So I can go like fence jumpers to kings of the earth, to the deceiver, to plunderers from reserve, to highwayman, to shamed woman, to Nebi or outsiders. And I can put red dragon in there at the very beginning. Pretty bonkers. The whole defense switches around or bands to each other. Like I said, I can go Nebi to mess with my opponent's head, to kings of the earth, and I can do it all over, whatever I need to. I can go to anything. It's a lot of brigades, so it's almost like, why not have lurking and foreign wives, Why not? It is a lot of brigades because of kings of the earth. Outsiders is 2. Nebi, 3. But I can justify Nebi's 3 because I have him on the offense. But it is a lot of brigades. But you're drawing so much as well. So, just really cool defense. I usually end it with red dragon or toss. Or outsiders, depending on the situation. And it's like, well, what happens if you lose one of your main characters? They all ban, so it doesn't matter. There's 3 main characters I like, and maybe I bring Mist into the defense in the reserve to get a character back. But there's 3 characters I like to end that are really strong that you have to get around. Plus, I don't care. You get rid of them, and then I just ban to, by then, I have plunders and condemned thief. And you have to get around a prevent, take, and a take from hand. And all my people play ambush pretty much. Like they're all going to ban to play ambush, which is really strong. So you can do this defense with Herod's. It's a little more difficult, but Herod's Banquet and Herod's are phenomenal, and you can mix them with some orange too. So I would love to see people do that. In my opinion, this is very similar to the defense I posted last year with Romans demons. You could always mix these demons with kings of the earth and kind of mix and match as needed. And then all of a sudden you have this craziness where everything bans. So it's very strong. If you look at the enhancements, so you have vain philosophy, like I said, and betrayal really goes with the theme. Take a couple of your stuff and you can't get around. I'm either limiting your what you can do in battle, and then I'm giving you special initiative, I'm tossing, or at protection. Something else I really like to do is having the band. Whichever way I want to band. And plunderers then goes to highwayman. So I prevent the next thing you play and take it. And I go highwayman to shamed woman to outsiders. And I give you special initiative. but I prevent the next thing you play. That's a phenomenal block. I would argue one of the best in the game if they have a bunch of good brigades down. If they have board advantage and a bunch of brigades down, and you're preventing the next thing they have, that is phenomenal. Right there, baby. Plunderers prevent bans to a thief. Highwayman bans to shamed woman. Shamed woman bans to an evil male human. There you go. Or Highwayman bans to fence jumpers. Fence jumpers bans to a generic evil New Testament human, which is outsiders, or kings of the earth. Shamed woman bans to an evil male human, which is outsiders or kings of the earth. So, phenomenal block. You're getting resources. You're preventing the next, and if they play anything, you take it. You're getting resources through Highwayman. Evil enhancements used are regardless of protect, and it's not a if blocking alone. That's very, very good. And then you're just doing a band to end to outsiders. So, or there you go. So, you can band to anything you want. Phenomenal defense, extremely fun. We're always giving you initiative. We're giving you initiative because we're taking your stuff, or we're preventing it, or we're tossing. Doesn't matter. So what do? We have a bunch of either more, take stuff from your hand. Like I said, betrayal, vain philosophy works perfectly. Wages is wages. And then I have 3 interrupts. CBP by a good card, and then CBP by a good card. So you do want to have, I would like to have another card that's CBP by a good card. Because Andrew, Mary the Restored, and the Bethany Trio, and just white in general being dominant. 24 Elders. Like, there's a lot of, you have Noah build still, Noah Shuffle out there. So you have a lot of negate, Jairus. I see New Testament Gold, like I said, getting a little love. You have Jairus. You need to be able to get rid of heroes. Especially Seized by Babylon. If the Bethany Trio hits me, then I can get rid of 2 of them right here. So, assuming they have to convert 1 in battle, and I get 2 brigades. So, make sure you can hit what's in the meta, what's attacking. So, when I block, I want to make sure that I have interrupts and negates that, and I'm playing interrupts and negates because I always like them, but because I'm giving you special initiative and I have a massive defense that puts you in special initiative, which means I'm going to need negates. When I'm looking to block, I'm looking for to have protection, to negate what you're doing, to have just bigger numbers than you in negating. Like, for me, that's really good. There's not a lot of CBN right now, period. So I can negate most of what you're doing. Red Dragon's really good right now. So if you have, when I'm blocking, I want to see what I can do about your resources. I want to generate resources, but I also want to limit yours. Herds provide protection. Thieves take your resources. Demons do a little bit of everything. A lot of protection there. So I always make sure I have emperors with protection as well. I always want to have multiple characters in battle, negates, protection. I want to have different options that you have to get around. So I play a lot of banding characters. I give you special initiative knowing I'm playing interrupt enhancements because, like I said, it ultimately comes down to resources. If I put you in special initiative, you have to respond or I win the battle. If you have to respond, you get to play something. I'm already up a card, essentially. So you had to play the card. It's now my advantage because I play something. You have to play another card to, whether I'm negating you and killing you, or I just simply negate you with bigger numbers, like whatever it is. I feel like I'm always a little bit of an advantage point in blocking if I put you in special initiative, or if I just give you initiative in general. A lot of players will say Tyler's not afraid to give you initiative. Like, I've played a long time and I just put big dudes in there and add to battle. It's kind of always been my thing. So, which with orange, I would love to have the thief in here and Gates of Hell. Like, I would love to have another way and another demon, another add to battle. Like, that's phenomenal. That's why I love Philistines. Ways to add to battle. So yeah, keep that in mind. Black's really good right now in general too. You have outsiders, herdsmen, a lot of different mix and match there. So think outside the box. For battles, try to make the opponent use resources while you don't use yours. This is why it's one of my favorite defenses. If I'm running numerous, I have stars on thieves. I take what you're doing, limit what you can do, and constantly just put a bunch of dudes out there and say, beat them. So I think we're good on this deck. It's really fun to play. This is really good. And in my opinion, you take this out, and like I said, you do a couple of the adjustments. It's really healthy. This deck isn't decking out that fast. My other builds, when I do nothing here, I don't use these 3 cards, and I'm challenge myself in deck building. And then I do 1 territory class enhancement. I'm decking out turn 3, and majority of my builds, and that's fine. You could always deck out in Redemption if you want to. That's always been a thing since Justin Alstead and Speed Freak back in the day. So, throwback. But I think I'm more focused on getting resources on both sides, offense and defense, limiting what you can do, just my philosophy. Whether that's taking your resources, having protection, giving you special initiative. This defense really does a lot of what I like in general. Big band toss. So on both sides of the ball, offense and defense, I'm limiting what you can do. And I'm either giving myself some protection, I'm negating, getting rid of your resources through Martha. So you'll see it's a lot of the same thing. My offense just does a little bit more by the numbers. Defense doesn't really have a lot of by the numbers right now. I think that's everything. And like I said, if I want to test 1 territory class enhancement with this build, that's completely fine. I might put in like a character, another green character, and keep Emmaus. And then bring in, like I said, Love Righteousness, and we're good to go. So, and then have Crowd's Choice. Annunciation still really good because of the negate cards in battle and I banned and all that. So, we are good here. I think it was called Noah Mary, and those 2 cards that I had in mind aren't even in the build. I also posted my Salty Speed on Discord. It's a Disciples build with the same defense. So it was just another version of an offense that's fast, that plays a Lost Soul from a deck, plays a Lost Soul, and lets me pop Salty real quick. I don't know how. What Jaden, what image did you get for Salty? You're like the only dude that has that. And this is no territory class enhancements. So the defense is a teeny tiny bit different because there's no Wages of Sin. So, but yeah, same thing. I mean, it is cookie cutter. I like Watchful Leaders and Disciples, and then my enhancements are more focused on the battle phase. So Walking on Water is amazing. If I get it first turn, I get Salty because I don't get the additional part of taking a good card from reserve, but I still get to play Salty, so I'm good. Baptism, I was finding myself not having enough with Matthew block. So once again, I don't need to take a card from reserve my first turn. I still get to negate, draw 2, and banish on Matthew. Phenomenal. Great Commission, Day Judgment. Matthew has good numbers. Play Lost Soul from a deck. Ascension, can't really use this first turn, but that's fine. If I have it in my opening hand, and I know I get to attack with Ascension turn 2, that's good for me. And then Untouchable is amazing. So pretty standard. Watchful Leaders, bans 2. Watchful Leaders becomes Jerusalem identifier. Bans 2 all my Jerusalem heroes, all your disciples. Protects, one of them in battle. And you have an interrupt, an interrupt, an interrupt, a negate, and you go from there. And then you have big battle winners that you want to play later on. I think I don't have a way to lurking, and this becomes his sacrifice because I'm seeing demons. And I absolutely think I see demons after, this is unveiled. So, sorry, Crab Burrito, but I think his sacrifice needs to be in your reserve. Jaden said it. I've been pushing the same way. His sacrifice is a phenomenal reserve card, especially in builds that can just play it from their reserve. So, all right. We're 30 minutes in. I almost feel like that's just a video in and of itself, right? And then I just do another video where I do a ground up. I think that's fair. Do y'all think that's fair? How about this? And I know what I'm building for the ground up deck. I keep talking about it. And I'm going to build white gray. And I'm going to keep in mind, I'm going to challenge myself because there's no delivered access. I mean, you can have delivered access in any deck, right? You know me, I don't need delivered access to have delivered access. But I think I really want to challenge myself to not have cards that I constantly use and do a little bit of a different build that I am surprised I don't see. And I mean white-gray as just a deck type in general, which is really, really good. Judas works really well in this defense. This was my first go at this defense, so like Firefoxes need to come in, stuff like that. Little things I forgot about on my first take. And there's nothing really oppressive here. There's no just control the complete board state. If you draw, I take enhancement from your hand, and if you search, I take a good dominant. Most people are just going to search through Thomas, so there is that. Yeah, I'll just spread out the deck real quick and show you what all I do here. Just a quick salty build. I was shocked that I didn't have a salty build on my channel. That is unacceptable. Defensively, we're going the same thing. We went with the New Testament package. Actually, the souls are very important for this build. I didn't have enough board oppression cards, so I added in Babel. And for what? I forgot. Well, either way, this has Babel in it. A lot of people are banding on good and evil. It's not all cannot be negated. It's not all CBP. I don't think Forsaken has to be in here. I almost want to say that Forsaken should be Imitate. Yeah, Forsaken should be Imitate. Undies is really good. Like first turn, they do a little craziness, and they couldn't negate Undies. That's really fun. Also, you have abilities to play Lost Soul. You want Undies to come out with Salty. You want another Lost Soul to come out with Salty. You don't want to just have one. You could play Darkness in this build with Revealer. I don't care to, because I have 2 Unity. I'm trying to think of maximize my ways to Salty. You don't have to do that. Lawless and Revealer. That's enough. I'm going to hit myself with Lawless. Yeah, imitate needs to come in. I don't know why that's like that. Get on in there. Okay, imitate's in there. You guys saw nothing. Ta-da! Okay, slight oversight. So yeah, you want lawless, you want imitate, because you get a lot of ways to salty first turn between your draw 8, your star abilities that play a lost soul. I can bring awaken here as another, and I'm just wondering what would come out for awake. Escape's really good. I like undesirables, and that's really the only card I'm thinking that could come out for awake, and I'd rather have the potential to just give them undesirables and gain essentially a free turn. So soul package, I have 4 ways outside of salty to go to salty first turn, or to have a either a way 2 or reveal, top 6, and then if it's my turn, I imitate and have another option to play salty. So a lot of ways to salty right here. And because of that, I don't want you to play any enhancements outside of battle. I want to be able to generate resources as I could. And so I went with a heavy resource adder, resource generator for my enhancements, and Matthew. You could also play white with the Bethany Trio and Hannah if you want to go with Heroes That Draw and Angel of Winds. I don't know. But the Disciples are the easiest to do this, to draw a bunch first turn. And even if it's my first turn and I didn't salty, I want to draw to put salty down. I don't want you to play enhancements. So this is my salty build. Some people play the cross with salty. By all means, that's a great play. It's not horrible because that keeps a good dominant in my hand for Disciples, but I just don't personally do it. Other than that, that's all I have. This is very, really is cookie cutter. You got a protect hero that bans. You got a negate hero. You got a draw and a toss. 2 like territory class heroes, 1 that draws, 1 that bans. Your big draw guy, Bader, and your 3 angels plus Patmos. So you can go to whoever you need first turn. It's usually Matthew, and then your enhancements are geared to help Matthew out. I pretty much always convert him because it's clay. So I pretty much always convert Matthew. I think that's everything. So that's my salty. It's my salty offense, and you just saw the defense. Same thing. That's my soul package. I think it's the same everything defensively and dominance. Yeah. Same deck. So, all right. I'm going to cut the video now, and then I'm going to do another video. Do I do another tomorrow and do a ground up video? Man, do I do one today? I don't know. I woke up with like a little bit of sweats. I was sweating a little bit, and I had a slight headache last night. And so I hopped in my meeting this morning, and they were like, just take off. Like, you don't need to do anything. So that was nice. And I have like 160 sick hours that are not PTO. I'm just telling you all everything. So I'm just taking sick hours, and I said, you know what? Well, I feel fine. So let's just make a bunch of videos today. All right. I think that's everything. I constantly want to challenge the community on deck building, thinking outside the box. If your hand's getting ripped apart, play like defensively. Don't just. I see a lot of the. This is life in general. I see a lot of the complaining without changing. I want to complain about a situation, and complain's always a negative word. It's like, oh, I'm a baby. No, it's just like, hey, I want to play my deck, and I want my deck to work. I'm guilty of it. So with Jehu, Bethany Trio, First Sacrifice, Teaching in Parables, decks I've put out there with the Nativity build, I pretty much use Nativity as my engine to go off, and then I don't really attack much with Nativity. It's not my focus. My focus is just Numerous to Star of Bethlehem as well to get everything going, and then I attack you with Jehu and Sword, Bethany Trio, and you can't do anything. In turn 2, I Impartial Judgment you, and it's really game. How do you stop that? If your hand's getting hit and there's not a lot of ways to hand protection, play a salty build. And the rebuttal to that is, well, blind Losel. Well, I'm not seeing blind Losel. So use salty. And it's like, well, that's not enough. Use Crowd's Losel with the soul package I have right here. And then it's, well, blind Losel still hits it. Okay, well, they're not playing star cards that play a Losel. So their blind Losel, they have to draw out of their opening 8, because other than that, they're not getting to their blind Losel, because they can't use all their territory class stuff, because you have 12 ways to salty in your deck. The chances of you having salty is way higher than them even having blind in their deck, let alone getting to blind Losel. So you can play Crowd's Losel. I personally don't think you need to play Crowd's Soul. That's the one that protects your hand if you've drawn 4 or fewer cards this turn. I don't think you need to play that card if you have salty. And play defenses that generate resources and that can actually block. I'm seeing defenses that are just kind of like a 1 or 2 evil character with like an enhancement, maybe 2 to back them up, and it's all the same enhancements. Just because an enhancement's really good doesn't mean you have to play it. As I talk about my Crimson defense with Seized by Babylon. I'm seeing a lot of the same defenses. I'm not seeing people think outside the box. I'm seeing a couple good battle winners, but they don't have the negates. They don't have ways to generate resources and win a battle. They aren't putting a ton of characters into battle to get all their abilities. They're not making the battle difficult for the opponent. So try out different builds. It'll make you better. It'll make you a better deck builder. So I wanted a salty build on my channel, and I also think it's really good. The community sees a really good defense that can hang with these offenses right now, but that also can generate resources and doesn't need territory class enhancements. Like I said, you could play Demons and Herods, and you get Clinging to Power and Wages of Sin. If you don't want to play salty, and Clinging gets everything in this build. So there's that version. If you want, like, hey, I want to play all my territory class enhancements. I don't need salty. This defense is really good. I'm going to try Herods and Demons with Clinging and Wages. Yeah, by all means. So this is where I tend to ramble at the end of my videos. So long story short, too long didn't watch. Build a salty deck. See what you like. Chad's philosophy of generating resources. Like, you can have Justin Martyr in here and Blood of the Lamb. Generating resources is really good. Having strong attacks that generate resources. So I know these are turn 2 cards, but the Ascension and Walking on Water generate resources. Untouchable is just really good. And then Baptism of Jesus generates. So, and then I have both 2 covenants to where I can use them as I need to. And maybe Send the Helper goes into the reserve. But just look at see what's beating you, see what's annoying you, and think about building a deck that stops that. Whether you need more defense or whether your defense just isn't blocking, mix and match. Do a little bit more. So that is all I'm going to talk about, and then I'll get another video out probably tomorrow. This is 45 minutes, so I'll get a video out probably tomorrow where I'm just building from the ground up. It's probably going to be white-gray. I need to have something in my mind of what I want to do with that, but that is all. So no gold fishing from me, just showing you some decks I have and breaking down that defense and a salty build and another deck offense I was doing where I'm just banding like crazy. So I hope you all enjoyed. I feel like I talked about the battle phase a little bit and philosophy. So next video we'll do why am I adding cards to certain, like why do I add cards or one card over another. So I will talk to you all then. Goodbye.